Have you been trying everything you can think of to feel better, but not making the progress you're hoping for? It might interest you to know that 90% of people who are ill have one thing in common that can easily be remedied with targeted use of essential oils. But most people have never even heard of it. Hi, I'm Jodi Cohen. I'm the founder of Vibrant Blue Oils, and I've helped over 20,000 people regain their vibrant health through specific and targeted use of essential oils. And I want to help you start feeling better with less work starting now. So remember I told you that 90% of people who are chronically ill have one thing in common? It has to do with a very important nerve called the vagus nerve, which is a critical channel for sending messages between the brain and the body. It serves as the master controller for our immune cells, our organs, our stem cells, along with your mood, your digestion, your memory, your cognitive function, your blood pressure, and many other aspects of your health. It plays a really critical role in the body's ability to maintain homeostasis and health. For example, it's our vagus nerve that releases the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which signals the heart rate to slow down. So when there's where's the vagus nerve in the body? I'm glad you asked. It's one of two extremely long cranial nerves that start at the base of the brain and travel down the neck on both sides of the body. Kind of right here behind the earlobe on the mastoid bone is where it's most accessible to the skin. So vagus is Latin for wandering. And as the name implies, the vagus nerve travels through the body and it connects the brain with every organ of digestion, along with the lungs, the heart, the spleen, the intestines, the liver, and the kidneys. It also connects with a range of other nerves that are involved in your speech, your eye contact, your facial expressions, even your ability to tune into other people's voices. Remember that the underlying root condition that 90% of chronically ill people have in common, it's what's called vagus nerve toxicity. That's right. Poor health can often be traced to an infected or poisoned vagus nerve. So here's how it happens. Toxins are drained from the brain down the lymph channels on the sides of the neck. And if lymph flow is congested, these toxins, which can include like environmental toxins, heavy metals, infections, or pathogens in the mouth, they linger. And the vagus nerve, which is also in that same area, can be infected or poisoned, and it then kind of impacts the whole nervous system. And it makes it worse that toxins like heavy metals and sulfur have a super high affinity to nerves, so they can contaminate the vagus nerve pretty easily. And unfortunately, because all these sensory nerves are networked, and then the toxins can quickly be absorbed in massive amounts. And then these toxins or infections can originate from microbes in the mouth that really don't belong there. For example, heavy metals or pathogens or viruses or toxins, and they dump into the neck from chronically inflamed tonsils or sinuses or dental amalgams or infected root canals or cavities in the jawbones. And then they migrate to nerve endings. From there, they move in the nerves toward the brainstem, where they can impact the face and other brain nerves. And sadly, the vagus nerve, just like other cranial nerves, can be infected. And so this can throw off the rest of the body, because vagus nerve toxicity can impede all the downstream function of the digestive system, leading to poor absorption, constipation, leaky gut, and it becomes kind of a vicious cycle, because malabsorption then contributes to the accumulation of other toxins in the lymph. It creates leaky gut, toxins come in, and then the lymph triggers further immune responses and intolerances. The vagus nerve also controls the motility in the digestive process, so our ability to move things through our system and eliminate them. So when you have vagus nerve imbalances, it contributes to constipation, which then causes even more toxins, and it can also contribute to like SIBO, Candida, IBS, all these things. Also, the vagus nerve releases acetylcholine to slow down the heart rate, remember? So a toxic vagus nerve can lead to cardiac issues. You know, I'd often heard that root canals were correlated with heart attacks, but I didn't really understand why. Here's why. The root canal causes the toxins infect the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve then doesn't send the acetylcholine to the heart. It can also compromise the immune system, leading to autoimmune conditions, and there's a correlation between the malabsorption of nutrients when the vagus nerve is compromised and the parasympathetic state isn't triggered. So all of a sudden stomach acid isn't being released and nutrients aren't properly broken down and assimilated. For example, if proteins aren't split or properly absorbed in sufficient amounts, then that can be problematic. Bile doesn't necessarily flow, and it can impede pancreatic enzymes from being released. It just really messes with our whole digestive process, which then messes with the raw materials and the building blocks that we need to heal. So how do you detoxify the vagus nerve? Stimulating this vagus nerve with topically applied essential oils like our parasympathetic blend, which you would put right behind the earlobe on the mastoid bone, can help to manually override impaired function. Because the essential oils are fat soluble, they're able to directly and immediately access the nerve in a way that other supplements or remedies really cannot. So I highly recommend the parasympathetic blend, which again, you would apply right behind the earlobe on the mastoid bone, and it stimulates the vagus nerve to trigger the parasympathetic response. Another good one is our lymph blend, which can help to open up these channels and help to drain the toxins so that you can rest, repair, and heal. And facilitating an increased activity in the vagus nerve and the corresponding neurotransmitters and hormones can really help the body return the balance. And when they're working optimally, the body will likely start to move and release these toxins like heavy metals, which is super important to support your detoxification and your health. Hi, I'm Jodi Cohen, founder of Vibrant Blue Oils. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. Please don't forget to subscribe by clicking the circle at the bottom of this screen. And if you want to access more free essential oil trainings, just visit vibrantblueoils.com/YouTube. You can find this link in the video description. Thank you again.